Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in again. I'm ready to get started with my review of the Amazon Echo Plus second generation device, and of course, as you're going through a device like this, you can't forget its competitors. So let's go through it right now. First up is cost. Now, of course, the Amazon Echo Plus second generation is the exact same cost as the first generation. This is what we're seeing with the Amazon Echo Dot third generation, where the price matching from the previous generation is going on. So this device is $149, same as this one was originally when it was sold and to date. Now, in comparison here to the Google Home, which is, I would say, its main competitor, this device is $129 US. Now, whenever you're buying a smart home speaker, I think first and foremost what you want to know is, how is the speaker? All three of these devices are going to be excellent, but in my tests of these three devices, this is the best speaker here. And what I'll say is, from the first generation Echo Plus to the second generation Plus here, what has happened is there is a slightly larger woofer here in this device. So this was a 2.5 inch and this is a 3-inch woofer here. And so what that does is gives you that extra low end or bass sound that a lot of people are looking for from their home theater system. Now, of course, it's actually important for you to actually hear how these all sound. So let me put them all next to each other and give you a demo of that. All right, so there you go. I think you could see that in general, these devices were pretty close. All three of them were pretty close in terms of quality, and in terms of loudness, they're all very close as well. But ultimately, in my tests here, this speaker is an excellent listening speaker. I know it's a little heavy on that low end, but you can actually adjust that using your application on your phone and a number of other ways. You can actually control it through the voice assistant. So, you know, that ability to control the bass and the treble here with the Echo Plus, I think makes this the best speaker in the class. One other thing to talk about in terms of speaker quality, this device is able to pair with another Echo or another Echo Plus and also the Echo Sub, and then turn into that 2.1 theater system. And you know, I have the Sub now here in my home, and I can tell you from what I've been listening to, it's pretty amazing to actually get those devices all working together. By comparison, neither of these two devices can do that. That hasn't been promised for the first generation of Echo Pluses. And Google really has zero response in terms of a 2.1 system like that. And I think Amazon over time is going to be able to take that further and further since they've already created it. I wonder if we're going to hit 5.1 systems very, very soon. The next thing to talk about here is the home automation capability. Now, between the Amazon Echo Plus first generation and the second generation, there's very little difference. What happens here is both of these devices have what's called a Zigbee hub in them. And so if you don't know what a Zigbee hub does for you or what it means, the Zigbee hub gives you the capability of controlling Zigbee protocol enabled devices directly using this. Where the comparison happens here is the Google Home is unable to connect directly. So for a system like Samsung SmartThings, you can connect the sensors directly to your Echo Plus, either the first or the second generation. Whereas with the Google Home Mini, you're going to need the Samsung SmartThings hub in order to connect those devices to it. So that little differential is actually quite significant when you think about all the different hubs that are out there today. Little caveat to all of this, if you want Philips Hue, you're still going to need the hub. But where a differential exists is, for example, like a Sangold bulb, or again, like I said, Samsung SmartThings. Now, on top of that, there's one differential here between the first and second generation. What basically happens here is there's a temperature sensor on board with this second generation of Echo Plus that was not there in the first generation. And so you can ask this device right here anytime you'd like what the temperature is in this device or at this device. So that gives you the opportunity to get another temperature sensor in your home at the same cost as this.
The Echo Plus 2 temperature is 22.3 degrees.
Now, in terms of look and feel, I think there's some pretty big differences here across the board, but ultimately the Amazon Echo Plus first generation is obviously the largest and the most prominent device here. What Amazon has done is they've basically paid attention to what Google is doing. This is not a prominent device. It's not standing out as much as it possibly can. Instead, this device is trying to hide and also blend in a little bit with the surroundings, and that's what I'd say Amazon has done with this. The new cloth fabric, clearly they've been moving in that direction since the second generation of Amazon Echo devices. We now see the Echo Dot third generation with that same cloth finish. I really like it, and I think it softens the whole look. The other thing is, you notice the height is very similar between the Google Home and the Amazon Echo Plus second generation. It's about half or just a little over half the size. You can see the thickness, and again, if I kind of line these two up, very close in terms of their stature. So overall, in terms of look, I think this is a real upgrade for Amazon in terms of their Echo Plus second generation, and I think the lessons that they've kind of taken over the last few years have been well learned. On top of all of that, and let me show you a little bit of a difference here, the Amazon Echo Plus here basically has one microphone there in the middle, and then there's an arrangement underneath the surface. Now, when you compare that with this new Amazon Echo Plus, you can see the arrangement right there is quite different. So there's actually a whole number of microphones, and they're on the top of the speaker. Now, what I think that does for Amazon in this case is it helps with clarity and understanding of queries, commands, and those other things that people are saying to the device. The reason I say that is actually I've been testing this device out for a few days now, and what I've found every day is that this device is understanding me much better and with more noise in the room. Now, still, when you go ahead and you fill the room with the sound, the music that is capable out of this device, it's not going to hear you very well. You're still going to have to yell at it. There's really no way around that. The far field microphones that are on here just cannot compensate for that much sound going on in the room. So it hasn't eliminated that, but when it dims that audio or it lowers that audio for me, what I've noticed is that it is understanding me better than the first generation device. So I think ultimately what this is going to do is push this new series of Echo devices closer and closer to the accuracy that we see with a Google Home and the Google Assistant. So if you've been reading lots of those reports, overall what happens is the Google Assistant understands 100% of the questions it's being asked. And I actually think sometimes this voice assistant here, and I'm not going to say the name, but this voice assistant struggles with hearing actually, and I think that was always somewhat partly at fault, or what was at fault here was the microphone arrangement. So what I'm noticing here is the clarity and the understanding is much better in the Echo Plus second generation. All right, now one last thing to talk about here. The new application that controls all of this, and again, it's named for the voice assistant, so I'm not going to say it, but that new application has been redesigned, and the new redesign is significantly better than the previous version of the application. So I think when you go out and you buy this speaker now, you're getting a much better experience on your phone or your tablet, and in terms of your control capability within this system. So overall, yes, you can get that application and use it here on the first generation, but ultimately it is significantly improved. And over time, we're of course going to see more and more of the functionality be limited to just this second generation device, not the first generation. So there you go, everyone. I think that's a pretty good review here. Obviously, we have a lot of upgrades from that first generation, and in general, I think you have very close devices here. Obviously, stay tuned to the channel as I go through a full comparison review of these three devices. That'll be coming next, and then you're going to see the Echo Sub coming right after that. Now, of course, I'd like you all to subscribe, join up with the channel as I go through all these new devices from Amazon, and of course, you're going to see the continued advancement of all of our tutorials for all of your home automation needs. So, everyone, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.